War. But before that, let's have a short introduction about the first, second, and third world countries. The Three Worlds model of geopolitics first arose in the mid-20th century as a way of mapping the various players in the Cold War. The origins of the concept are complex, but historians usually credit it to the French demographer Alfred Sauvy, who coined the term Third World in a 1952 article entitled Three Worlds, One Planet. The First World included the United States and its capitalist allies in places such as Western Europe, Japan, and Australia. The Second World consisted of the Communist Soviet Union and its Eastern European satellites. The Third World, meanwhile, encompassed all the other countries that were not actively aligned with either side in the Cold War. These were often impoverished former European colonies and included nearly all the nations of Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, and Asia. While highly subjective, First World is a term that consists of countries that may have the following characteristics: stable democracies, high standards of living, capitalist economies, and economic stability. Other measures that may be used to indicate First World countries include gross domestic product or literacy rates. Broadly speaking, countries that may be considered First World include the United States, Japan, Canada, and Australia. While there is no universal way to define a First World country, often they are characterized as industrialized and democratic countries. This is typically accompanied by stable currencies, sound financial markets, and modern infrastructure. Due to these factors, First World countries often attract foreign direct investment and capital flows. The First World concept was first fronted in the 20th century when the world was immersed in the Cold War and was the collective term for the countries which were under the capitalistic umbrella. Remember, the Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the United States and their respective allies, the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc after the World War II. First World countries were characterized by relative political and economic stability and also had a capitalistic economic system. These First World countries were initially majority of the countries in Western Europe as well as the United States and Canada. During the peak of the Cold War, relations between the First World countries and Second World countries were frosty, with the Soviet Union and the United States being the core of the two factions. So now, let us proceed to the First World concept after the Cold War. The concept of the First World enjoyed much traction during the Cold War, with the United States wielding much influence in the international affairs among the First World countries. The United States even took far-reaching measures to ensure that neighboring countries, which were allied to the Second World, such as Cuba, were repressed through heavy economic sanctions. However, the Eastern Bloc collapse witnessed in 1991 signified the end of the Cold War, and with it, the traditional definition of the First World countries. The term First World is rarely used in recent years as a dichotomy of countries of the world based on their affiliation to the United States, but is often used to describe countries with economic and political stability regardless of affiliation.